guys, it's Talha here again. So today what we are going to learn will be about comprehension. So in the first English class we learned about comprehension. What is comprehension? And the teacher also gave us an assignment and I'll also discuss what was the assignment. And then after that in fundamentals of computers class we discussed and we learned what is characteristics. What is the characteristics of a hard disk? And then what we learned was what is the structure of a hard disk, or how a hard disk is manufactured, or you can say how a hard disk works. So let's first discuss our first topic, that is comprehension, which we discussed in our today's English class. So what is comprehension? So comprehension is basically made up of a word which is called comprehend. So what does comprehend mean? So comprehend mean to understand. Comprehend mean to understand or to analyze a paragraph or a story or anything you want to understand, and then there are certain questions at the end which you have to answer. There are certain questions. There are for example, there will be a question asking you to suggest a title for the for the paragraph or for the story, to write the main theme. You can write the main theme, and the title should also be should always be based on the main theme, or the you can say that and the theme and the theme should also be should always be based on the summary of the should also be based on the summary of the story. So this was what we learned in English class, and that's not that much difficult. You guys can easily understand what is comprehension, because we all of us have done this comprehension thing when we were little kids. So, and that shouldn't be a big deal. And then there was this assignment where the teacher gave us a paragraph, and then the teacher asked us to write a title for this paragraph. And then she told us to to write the main theme, and then she gave us the words and and then she gave us some words which we had to make sentences of. Then she gave us two questions which we had to answer, which we had to comprehend the paragraph and then answer the questions based on what was written in the paragraph. So this assignment, that it wasn't an assignment, it was just a task, and that was fairly easy. Now let's discuss the characteristics of a hard disk, and then we will discuss the structure, and then we will discuss how a hard disk works. So first of all, let's discuss what is a hard disk. A hard disk is a storage device. What is a storage device? Storage device is a device which can read or which can write data on a storage medium. So basically, storage device and storage medium are both the same things. They're just the different terminologies for the same thing. So storage device and storage medium are just the same things. So hard disk is a storage device which stores your data inside, and it's located inside the computer, inside the system unit of the computer. And it is let's discuss the characteristics. So in characteristics, you have capacity. So you have capacity, you have certain a normal or an average hard disk has a capacity around 250 to 1 or 2 TB terabytes. It can store 1 to 2 TB of data, of bytes. Then it has has the capacity. Then it has the revolutions per minute, that is RPM. and that's around, I think, 5100 to 15,000 revolutions per second in an average hard disk drive. You have 15 if you have 5100 to 1500 revolutions per minute of plater. Now you have platers, you have tracks, you have sectors. We'll discuss these when we'll get to the how the hard disk works. I'll draw the structure and then I'll explain what are these terms. Platers, you have tracks, you have sectors. So these are all the basic components of a hard disk, which a hard disk made of. So basically how a hard disk stores data is for, okay, let me just draw the structure of a hard disk. So here I am not going to draw the top view, I'm just going to draw the side view of okay, I'm just going to draw a general or a simplest, you can say. So this is, for example, a plate. So this is the plate, and then you have tracks on it, then you have tracks on the plate. You know, a track forms a whole circle. A track forms a whole circle on the plate. So a track is so for example, in a plater, you can have up to I think 1,000 or 1,500 tracks per plate. So you can have, you know, a one track forms a whole circle, and then you have sectors, sections. Okay, first let's discuss what are sections. So basically, section cuts out these tracks into pie shape pieces. So you have different pie shape pieces like these. So these, the one I think one pie piece is called the sector, and they divide the tracks into small sections, which are called the sectors. So this is the whole section, and this one section of this pie piece is called the sector. So this is the sector of that pie piece and that of the track. So this is one sector, and one sector can store up to 512 bytes. So the one sector can store up to 512 bytes. So and a hard disk also has read and write arms, where you have an arm like this, and it's read and write. You know, it can read and it can also write on the storage medium, that is a hard disk. As I stated, that storage device and storage medium are both the same things. So here you have read and write arms, you have platers, which I just said, you have, and also you have cylinders. So an average hard disk has up to four platers. Every plater will have two read and write arms, and then you'll have cylinders. So what's the function of a cylinder? Like, for example, you have four plates, so a cylinder is connected to all of the plates in a hard disk. So when one arm, read and write arm, moves, so it is for all the plates of a hard disk. You know, you don't have to do it separately for each plate. You can do it, you can rotate the arm of the read and write arm for all of the plates at once. So that is the function of a cylinder. So how it's connected is connected to all plates, and two tracks, I think it covers the space of two tracks, and then it goes up to all the plates, and then it passes through all of the plates. So that was a cylinder. Now let's discuss how it works, like how a hard disk works, how a hard disk stores data, and how do we read and write. Okay, so let's say that and also a hard disk is enclosed in an airtight vacuum chamber, you can say, because if you will keep the hard disk outside, it will be contaminated also. How a hard disk works is the distance between the read and write arm and the plate is almost uh, 2 millionth of an inch. So it's like, I don't know how many times this distance, I think, is how many times smaller than a hair, than a diameter of a hair. So a hair's diameter is 100 or 1,000 times bigger than what is the distance between the plater and the read and write arm. So you just cannot put that hard disk drive in the outside in any outside place, because it will get contaminated and you will actually lose data. So you don't want to lose any data. So what happens is, for example, you have, okay, I'm just going to draw the side view. So here you have two plates. You have okay, so you have two plates. You have two read and write arms, one at the top of the first plate and one at the bottom, then one again at the top of the second plate and one again at the bottom. So you have one at the top, and then you have the second at the bottom of the plate. So here when so how it so it's like, it approaches to touch, it almost touches the plate of the plater. It almost touches the plate, but it does not. So actually, what is the plater made of? The plate is made up of any, you can say, any material, plastic, glass, but it has a cover. It is covered with a layer of an alloy. So for example, steel or a magnetized material which has an effect in the magnetic field, but that covering is also, I think, I know that covering is also, I think, again I said I think, 2 millionth of an inch. Like, it's also very, very thin. The covering is also very, very thin, and the distance between the plater and the read and write arm is also very low. Is also very less. So it almost touches the plate, but if it touches the plate directly, you're going to lose data. So it actually does not. There's a very little space, 2 millionth of an inch of space. And how it reads and writes data, it actually does that by the magnetic charges. So you have this alloy and you have a magnetic field created around the disk. That is how it reads and writes the data into the hard disk drive. So first what happens is you have a hard disk drive. Here there's a motor, there's a circuit which controls the rotation. So here is the plater, the tracks. There's a one plate. I'm just drawing the top view, so you won't be able to tell the difference if there is one plate or there is more. So here you have a read and write arm. On top of it you have a read and write arm. You have a circuit board. You have different sections. You have different sectors, as I stated. So what happens is, when you provide the electricity, or when the circuit turns on, it actually rotates the as I stated, the term RPM, revolutions per minute. So it rotates this central part, or the motor, which rotates the whole plater, So that happens when you turn on the computer. When you access this disk drive through a program, or through the system software, or through the applications, or through a software. So what happens is, the electric current generates, and it comes, the electric current comes here, and it guides the read and write arm where how to move, and where, you know, there's also a motor, there's also a spinning motor right here. So when a current comes here, it guides this whole read and write arm where to move and where to get the data from. So, and also we have access time. And what does access time mean? Access time means the time it requires the read and write arm to fetch the data, and to find the data and fetch the data back. So the difference between bring and fetch. So for example, when you use the term bring means when you're when you don't have to go to a certain place to bring the thing. You just bring the thing from where you're standing, or you just bring the thing directly. When you use the term fetch, so what fetch means, that you have to go to the place where you're directed to go. You have to pick up that thing and you have to bring it back. So when you bring it back the thing, that term, we use the term fetch. And when you just bring the thing directly, you don't have to go to some place to bring, that you just call bring. So here it directs the read and write arm to where to fetch the data from. So what it does, it can just move up to the radius. It can just move along the radius, or just the length of the radius of a platter. So this is how a hard disk works. Also, we have different disk controllers. We have SATA. I don't even know. I forgot what its abbreviation. We have SCSI, or you can say SCSI. You have eSATA. You have EIDC, DC, and you have SCSI. So you have these ports where you can insert extra. You can also have external hard disks. You have portable hard disks, and you have removable hard disks. So sometimes what happens is you don't have enough space on your internal hard disk. So you attach another external hard disk, or a portable or a removable hard disk to your system unit, which helps you to store data, more data into your computer. Also, these removable or external hard disk helps you to back up the information you want to back up, because for example, sometimes what happens is your internal hard disk gets damaged, so you lose all the data. But when you have an external hard disk, you can back up all the data, and you make sure that your data is all safe. So I hope I covered the hard disk and the English thing. Yep. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's lecture. I also had a lot of fun giving it, and thank you very much.